All right. So good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Ishwar Iyer. I'm filling in for Katie today, and let's get right into the live briefing. The main points for this week are the severe weather and the continued summertime heat and humidity. Uh, for today, that slight risk has been expanded to include Northern Virginia and the DC metro with another slight 2 out of 5 severe weather risk for all of Western Virginia tomorrow. Main points today, the storms will mainly be across Northern Virginia. Again, some of them could be strong to severe with damaging wind gusts being the main threat. Certainly not atypical for summertime, but this afternoon, this evening, especially Northern Virginia, although you could see a few storms as far south as the 64 corridor as well. And so we'll get into more detail on that in a minute. And then storms may be more widespread tomorrow. And tomorrow actually looks like the day with the greatest severe threat out of the next three, though there is uncertainty exactly about what time the storms will come, although we do think the greatest threat tomorrow will be across western portions of the state. And then again, additional severe weather possible on Wednesday. And like with any summertime storm, localized heavy rainfall or flooding is possible today and especially tomorrow and Wednesday. And then again, higher heat and humidity, certainly not advisory level, but heat indices over 100 across portions of the state continues for the next few days. So getting into the broad overview of our severe risks today, mainly across Northern Virginia, although we'll have to watch as far south as the 64 corridor, as there is a non-zero threat for a stronger storm capable of producing damaging wind gusts. Tomorrow, there's an elevated wind threat, severe wind threat across the entire state, although it looks greatest across the Piedmont and especially into Western Virginia and the mountains. So we'll have to watch that. And then Wednesday, the threat shifts to the south and west. Tomorrow and Wednesday, there is a lot of uncertainty regarding, again, timing and how much storms will actually get, as the models have a wide range of solutions. Today, the timing looks to be mainly between 2 and 10 p.m. With, again, main threat being wind gusts, although some hail and flooding is not out of the question as well. Again, this is not atypical for summertime, but it certainly we do have a severe threat each day, at least through Wednesday. Things might calm down a little bit after that. Again, in terms of the map here, we have the low end hail threat with the main threat being wind gusts potentially above 60 miles per hour in a few localized spots. Then that's most likely across Northern Virginia, and that does include the DC metro area as well. So heading into tomorrow, there is that level 2 out of 5 slight risk across the Piedmont and into Western Virginia, all along I-81 there, including Roanoke, Charlottesville, and up into the mountains as well. The reason the timing, we put the timing as 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. is just because it's uncertain whether you're going to have something come in. Something could easily come in early afternoon, and if that happens, the threat would be lower in the latter part of that period. Whereas if you don't get storms during the early part of the period, we could have a thunderstorm complex forming out here and potentially impacting portions of the Commonwealth during the latter part of that period. So that is, again, why we we have lower confidence here in the timing and coverage, just because there's such a wide range of solutions. It could be Could be that the threat is the afternoon and evening. It could be that it holds off until the evening and early overnight hours. And tomorrow morning, we will be sending out an email update, and hopefully we should have more confidence regarding timing uh, by then and be able to narrow this down from just a wide range here. So again, tomorrow, main threats damaging winds, although we can't rule out some small hail and localized flooding. Uh, the the hatched area for potentially this is signifies that there is a potential for some higher end severe wind gusts that doesn't quite reach the Commonwealth, though, especially across western southwest portions of the Commonwealth, would not be surprised to see a couple of 70 mile per hour gusts, and that would be capable of causing extensive tree and power line damage. So certainly tomorrow, if any day there of all the days in the next few, this is probably the day to watch most in terms of severe weather. Um, and with again the main threat being damaging wind gusts. So that's just something to keep watching. We of course will see how things trend tonight, and hopefully we will have some higher confidence in timing and placement by tomorrow morning when we send out our update. And of course, there is that localized flooding threat as well, which is highest uh, tomorrow and Wednesday, and mainly across western portions of the state. But again, if you get a storm popping up over an urban or flood-prone area, you could see some issues as well. Um, so the storms, again, going back, they will be moving at a decent clip, but if you get storms training over the same areas over and over again, which does appear possible tomorrow and Wednesday, you could see an elevated flooding threat, especially across the western part of the state. So uh, that's the main thing to watch there. Just going over the timing, again, typical this time of year, pretty low end chances today, though it doesn't mean it won't be stronger severe storm, especially up across northern portions of Virginia and the DC metro area. And then tomorrow we do have higher precipitation chances, above 50% in some locations, especially north and west. Uh, Again, with a broad range of timing, hopefully, again, we can narrow this down a little bit as we head into tomorrow. Um, but we'll be looking at that. And of course, again, localized heavy rain and flooding would be possible with any storm. And then Wednesday, the rain chances do decrease, and they're going to be highest across far western and southwestern Virginia, though can't rule out a storm, an isolated storm across a decent portion of the state, though the chances in northern Virginia do drop off significantly by Wednesday. That is something to note there when compared to today and tomorrow. And then heat, we do have the typical summertime heat and humidity with highs in the low to mid 90s across central and into portions of northern and eastern Virginia today, and then mainly central and to southeast Virginia tomorrow and Wednesday. Wednesday may end up being a bit cooler than this if we do get storms on Tuesday, so that's something to watch. But again, certainly no heat advisories expected, but it will be hot and humid nevertheless. And then just the broad 7-day outlook here. Again, precipitation chances do lower Thursday and Friday with just low end typical isolated afternoon and evening storms possible each day from Thursday through the weekend, although we're not monitoring any huge threats or anything like that. With a slight drop in the heat and humidity as well especially after the middle of the week. And lastly, but not least, the tropical outlook again. We are monitoring several areas of development, but it does not look like these systems pose a threat to the Commonwealth. So This one is going out to sea. The second yellow area here is just going to track generally straight to the west and pass by well to our south. And then the third one, I'm just going to switch tabs here. The third system, this is that third system. This is like 10 days out, but it's forecast to track to the west northwest, and then curve north and then northeast. And these are just model forecasts, but even the westernmost ones have it passing by well offshore, and therefore, for that reason, we're pretty confident that these do not pose a threat to the Commonwealth at this time. So, with that, I will stop the recording here.